Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Suited Kings podcast, episode number 71, if I'm not mistaken.
Sounds about right.
Today, Max and I are going to get into a few little topics. It's going to be just sort of these generic questions that I feel like people ask us a lot of the time about not like actual in-game strategy, but more just like, oh, how many bullets do you fire? Should I late reg? All these like little questions that go with playing poker either professionally or at a serious level that people just there's not like a right or wrong answer to sometimes, but people are curious what our thoughts are. And so we'll get into that in a little bit. First off, we've started doing this segment, the guess the hand segment, I guess it would be called.
Good enough for me. Yeah,
And Max,
totally come up with a more clever
hand
name
for me. So how you doing today, Max?
I'm doing well, buddy. But yes, and I know you are doing well. You had a nice little. You've officially doubled your bankroll in your bankroll challenge. You're now over 20K. You started at 10K, but we're working towards 100K. So there's there's no room for celebration yet. You got a lot of work to do.
No early touchdown dances here.
Yeah. But we know what happens in poker when you celebrate early.
Yeah, you just get slapped.
You get shit on. Hey, you know what? I implore, or for, I don't know words, but anyways, I suggest that all of you listeners, when you get it in as a 90+% favorite, stand up and fist pump if there's another card to come still. And cheer before that card comes, and then see what happens.
See what happens. Yeah, it'll work every time.
We'll test this.
It'll work 90% of the time.
90% of the 90% of the time it works every time. Something like that. Anchorman reference. You don't watch movies though.
I don't. No.
Yeah. You smell like pure gasoline. Anyways, yeah. Well, I got a hand for you, Wes.
Okay.
Each week we're taking turns going back and forth. This one is from. Can you guess what tournament this would be from? That'll be your first question.
It's an online one?
It's an online tournament.
It's going to be the Super on Global.
You nailed it, dude. First try.
I mean, I know you won that one again the other day.
Oh, the Super. I don't know, 6 or 7 wins in the Super, somewhere around there.
Incredible.
Yeah. I know you love it yourself. But anyways, so this hand is going to be, let me see if I have some more details on it. Bubble of the Sunday Super.
Okay. It's a little bigger field. I think
bigger field, bigger
guaranteed.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. So we're on the Stone Bubble. I have 31.3 bigs in the big blind.
31.3. All right.
And guys, and to the listeners, when we have, when I give clues and stuff like that, try and guess the hand in your head as well. Like, this is a time for you to kind of think processing here, and then you can hear Wes's process and see if it aligned with yours. I think it's a cool little thing to do here. So let's rip into it. Starts off with low jack opening to 2 bigs on 30 bigs. So he had 29
about
points.
The same stack.
Yeah, he's got about 2 bigs less than me.
Okay.
The rest of the table, there's 2 people at the table that cover us and 2 people that are below us at the table, or 3 people that are below us at the table. Okay. Not super necessary, but ICM plays a little bit of a role in this.
Not super necessary.
Anyways, low jack opens to 2. Quit with your shit-eating grin over here. Low jack opens to 2 bigs. We have queen 10 of clubs in the big blind.
Whoa. You just gave me the hand.
All right. Well, motherfucker. All right, well, guys, give us a moment here. I'm going to pause this podcast. We're going to find
this
another
might be our best blooper so far.
We'll be right back. All right, guys. Well, I'm an idiot, and as you all probably just heard, I ended up giving Wes the hand, and that was the only hand I had prepared to play this game. So instead, Wes is going to have a hand for me today as I prepare another one for next week. Unfortunate. That was such a good one to go over too. Damn it. Anyway,
I will be curious. Maybe you can just run it past me after this.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll wait a while and then just throw it in the future when you might forget about it.
But when you do that, you can't tell me like what tournament or anything, because it's like,
yeah, you'll come back together.
Some details.
I know it's hard to get any, like, you remember everything. So, anyways, let's try this again here.
All right, so this is from a 2-5 cash game from last year.
Pocket aces.
Yeah, damn it, you got it. All right, so it's a six max game. We're going to be 100 bigs effective under the gun, or in this case, low jack under the gun six handed. Has 100 bigs, so $500. Open min raises to 10. I am in the cutoff. I three bet to 6.5 bigs, so 32.5. Folds to the low jack who calls.
Pot's like
Flop
14
comes.
bigs.
Yep, 14 or 14.5. Just
Yeah.
technically it's a 2.5 or 255 game. But yeah, so flop is five of clubs, 10 of hearts, eight of hearts.
Five of clubs, 10 of hearts, eight of hearts.
Yep.
Okay.
Checks to me, and I bet a little over half pot. I go 8.35 big blinds, which is like $42.
Okay. Just use
Something
big
like
blinds just to make it
yeah,
easy.
so 8.35 into
In-
14.5.
Okay. Okay. So like 65% or something.
Yeah. Opponent check calls. The pot is exactly 31.2 bigs.
Five
And
of clubs, eight of 10, eight of hearts, 10 of hearts.
yep. And then
Okay.
seven of spades turn.
5, 7, 8, 10, two hearts. Okay, go ahead.
Yep.
He checks.
Goes check, check.
Check, check. Okay.
I have a weird feeling you're gonna you might get it or get very close.
Okay.
River is the deuce of hearts.
Okay.
So third heart, 5, 10, 8, two hearts, seven of spades, deuce of hearts. I three bet pre, C bet on flop, check, check, turn. Low jack checks river. And he has he's like a little over 2.5x pot behind.
And how much is in the pot?
31.2, and he has 85 big blinds behind.
Okay. Okay.
I go all in.
You have king of hearts, jack of clubs.
Incorrect.
Okay. I just wanted to throw one of those out there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I get one clue after that guess though.
Yep. So I go all in and the opponent folds.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So let's see. The clue is
So the full board is 5, 7, 8, 10, two hearts, and then the deuce of
5, 10, 8. I should say. Seven was on the turn.
yeah, 5, 10, 8, two hearts, seven of spades or whatever on the turn, and then deuce of hearts completing the flush on the river.
Yep.
Okay. And there's 35 bigs and he's got 80 something behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Give me something here. Give me something good.
You said king of hearts jack as your first guess, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I will tell you that my hand does not contain any king.
Okay. Okay. You three bet pre. So and this is a cash game, right?
Yeah, so I almost 3x jam the river on the deuce of hearts.
I want to say, man, here's the thing is like, would you turn an ace high heart into a bluff here? I guess you could because he's supposed to be he could be folding like, any single pair. He could be folding like 10x, get him to fold like jack 10 and things like that. I'm going to guess my second guess. I'm still sticking on this nut blocker bluffing line of ace of hearts. Oh man, you're not gonna three bet ace 5-0, I don't think, from cutoff though. Shit. And you're not gonna turn ace 10 into a bluff here. I guess you could have. Okay, my second guess is going to be, man, queen jack with the queen of hearts.
No.
Am I even close?
Before I answer that, I'm trying to think what my next clue is. Because if I answer that, that will be a clue.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So my next clue. Well, actually, I'll give two things. So one, just as a little bit of just information in general. This one isn't so much the clue, but just as a bit of a response. Both of those hands I would have just folded free. King jack off and queen jack off.
Yeah, it's kind of what I was thinking. But you would three bet king queen off.
Yeah, probably. So, but the clue is, I guess, okay. So the clues I've thought of are ones that you're kind of going along that line anyways, but I'll just say this anyways. If it had been a different deuce on the river, I would have checked, and you are correct in thinking that this river sizing is never
It should be either nutted or blocking the nuts is what my thought is.
correct. And so I guess you've already been thinking that though.
Do you just have the nuts here? Do you have ace five of hearts?
Is that your what's your
Okay. No, you had one more guess you were about, or one more note you were going to give me. So I'll take that before I give my final guess.
yeah, I've the clues I'm giving you are kind of like you're already kind of knowing that. So I will say here's what I'll say, and we'll see if you remember what I mean. I actually thought you were going to get it at some like I thought you were just about to say it at some point during this conversation.
Well, if I thought that out, oh man,
Like you started to say it, I think.
I
Or,
started to say
or
it.
at least the start of something you said was like if you had added a couple more words on the end, it would have
Fuck, that
been
doesn't help
correct.
me, brother. I don't
Okay.
know what you're talking about. But anyways, okay, my third guess is going to be um, ace jack off with the ace of hearts.
Oh my God. Ace of Hearts, Queen of Clubs, Ace
Oh.
Queen. So earlier you had said Ace of Hearts with and then kind of paused. That's
I
when I
knew
thought
this
you
was a
just said.
nut blocker play. It just felt
Yeah.
like it. It absolutely felt like it.
Yeah.
Try
Yeah.
that
I mean,
shit on me and see
basically,
what happens, brother.
yeah. Oh, I mean, you're snapping off with like middle pair,
My gut was
probably.
screaming bluff the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess part of it is like, would I share this hand if I just had the nuts? Like, maybe not.
They wouldn't be very fun, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, well, yeah, thank you for saving me since I absolutely ruined our first. Man, that hand was so
That's
good.
annoying. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? Should we
Um,
just go over that hand real quick and just give me your thoughts real quick?
yeah. Run it past
You
me. And
want to do
my
it?
last thought is like, one of these times, if I have a hand like this, I'm going to have to make it a value bet, just like a very standard value hand, just to like stay balanced. They
Okay.
can't all be cool bluffs or successful hero calls.
You're right, 100%. Keep it. You got to keep you. All right. So, you know what? We'll let the listeners hear this hand too. I'm curious. We'll get a little Wes's coaching corner, we'll call this segment.
There we go.
All right. So, you know the action. Low jack opens to two bigs. We're on this bubble of the Sunday Super. So, one more person busts, we get in the money. Okay.
Yep.
I think you're either gonna like this hand or you're gonna absolutely hate it. And if you
Yep.
hate it, that's okay too. So,
Yeah.
I don't think you'll hate it, but the river decision. I'm curious if what you'll think is mostly
All
what I'm
right. All
thinking
right.
here. So, low jack opens to two bigs off 29 bigs. I have 31 bigs with queen 10 of clubs in the big blind. Okay. Flop comes jack 8 4 rainbow.
One club.
Gutter to the nutter, baby. No
Yep.
club. No
No
club.
club.
No club. There's 5.2 bigs in the pot. I check. Low jack bets, what is that? Like 70%? 3.6 bigs into
Oh, he goes
5.2.
big. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That kind of takes away the check raise. If you bet small, I thought you might click it up.
It might make a good check raise spot. However, I think my plan here is to, even though he took a larger sizing, I'm just going to peel one and try and smash it off
Yep.
or just
Yeah.
give
Try and
up.
hit the nuts. Try and hit top pair, or like
Yeah.
if he shuts down, then you could bluff.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where we're at. So we do call the 3.6. Now there's 12.4 bigs in the pot. The turn is the 8 of clubs. So the board is jack 8 4 8 on the turn.
Yeah. Is this an older hand? Have you?
No, I remember I remember a hand that you're thinking of though. This is
Yeah. This
not that.
sounds familiar, but
This
okay.
is not that hand.
Okay. So
I have a
so
feeling you know what I'm going to do here.
lead.
We take the lead route on the 8 of clubs turn.
Yeah. I like that.
Now, what sizing do you use? I'm curious if my sizing. I mean,
All right.
remember
So
our
there's
stack
12. There's
sizes.
12.2 in the pot. You said
12.4.
12.4 in the pot, and
I have
stacks.
25, 26 behind, and he's got 24 behind.
He's got 24. You could go like 4 and
Okay.
then set up
Okay.
a jam on like a SPR one, or you
Okay.
could go,
Well, for the
or you could go
listeners,
half pot.
to the listeners curious why I'm leading here, obviously I'm turning my hand into a semi bluff here, but I'm going to have more eights in my range than the original opener and low jack. So I'm essentially going to turn my hand into a bluff here. I think this is a great card to start leading on because, again, I'm going to have
Agreed.
all the eights. And he's just, I mean, even with like pocket aces here, he's just bluff catching at that point.
Yeah.
So Yeah, because I would never should never be doing this. But anyways, I end up on the size of five bigs into 12.4.
Yeah, I mean that seems fine.
Okay. And he calls.
He calls.
So there's 22.4 bigs in the pot. I have 20 bigs and he's got 19. We're both under one SPR. And the river's a queen of spades.
I swear you've shown me this hand.
Maybe I have. That's okay. But
Oh
I
man, yeah.
even if I did, what are you doing on the queen of spades?
So like you're beating a jack. You're beating ace jack, king jack, jack 10 suited.
Yeah, yeah.
Um I am he can still have like 10-9 suited. Queen jack beats us. Aces, kings beat us. Like, is he gonna
He-
call anything with ace jack? Do you bet a couple big blinds here or do you check?
Neither.
Okay, I'm curious. Like, I'm curious.
I just full send it for value.
I feel like I'm not a big fan of that.
That's okay. Remember when I said I think the river decision you might not
Yeah,
like? Yeah. I had
yeah,
a feeling you wouldn't like that. But honestly, my whole thought was exactly what your original thought was, is like he still has all the jack X's that I can get value from. But here's the truth though, in hindsight, is that I don't think he's gonna call off with a jack on the stone bubble with 20 bigs behind still. So if I did bet here, I would like to see maybe like 6.5 bigs or something into 22 and just try and get value from that hand.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Just like super small because like I guess the one thing you have going for you is when you check call flop. There's other gutters. There's like because it's jack 8-4, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So
I
there's the
have a
five
10 in my
six
hand.
six seven 5-7. There's like 10-7, 9-7. Um,
If we imagine he's opening those of the suited, he might be.
I'm
On the
saying for
bub.
you,
Oh, for
but
me.
you
Okay.
have like a bunch. You have some offsuit ones
I have
too.
some bluffs here for sure. Like you said, those gutters
You
that missed.
do because my first thought was like, well, 9-10 gets there, so he can't call, and your queen 10, queen 9 make top pair now.
Yeah, I could have 5, 6, 6, 7. Yeah,
Yeah.
9, 7.
So okay, I still don't know. Yeah, okay. I like the bet more. I still don't know if I love the jam,
I
but
think I agree. I agree. But
yeah,
anyways, I jammed and he folded. And this was the hand I was gonna have you guess, the queen 10 of clubs. Like
yeah,
because the hand, it's so interesting, right? Like I feel like
yeah,
without you knowing I had queen 10 here, you probably wouldn't have guessed that's what I had on the river. But who knows?
yeah. I mean, it looks like an 8 or 10-9 for value, but
It
then
was
you're
a value
sharing it.
bet though.
Yeah, it was. So, but then you're sharing it, so I might be like, oh, you had 6-7 or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's possible. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Now we ran through that hand. I appreciate your input in that. There's always room for improvement. So, but should we get into the meat of the things?
let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of these little questions that people have for pros or for people who take the game quite seriously. And you can, you know, absolutely think of some more. I have a few that I wrote down just to get the discussion started. Um, the first question that we can address is let's start with this one. What are your thoughts on playing satellites to tournaments?
Yeah. I think if I think they're obviously incredible. I think some are better than others. Um, I think like for example, like MSPT qualifiers and stuff like that. While the rake is a little high, like I don't think it's terrible, and I think that they're so soft that your your ability to win them is going to overcome or like outdo the rake that's being generated by them. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
assuming you're like a winning player.
yeah, if you
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. If you I think if you're a winning player, you can it's going to be a positive EV decision, especially for that. As for like yeah, qualifiers are great. I think especially for your like your local 500s and 800s, again, they're going to have high rake, but a lot of people don't understand qualifiers and
yeah,
how to play them and how they differentiate from actual tournaments. People will often play a qualifier like it's a real tournament and try to win the thing, and they're just going to end up punting that way. I mean,
yeah.
I like for a good example, without getting too deep into this, too much of a rant was in December. I um, I was on the stone bubble of the qualifier into that global 99 500K guarantee
Yeah.
with 1.5 bigs. And there were two people shorter than me and one person or whatever into the money. And so I had 1.5 bigs with pocket aces and I folded pre-flop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like sometimes you have to do that. I actually had a great,
And for the and I cashed and I got into the tournament and turned that fold into 10K. So
yeah, that's pretty incredible. Um, yeah, you got to think about like the money, just the actual money aspect of it. And I actually had an example. The first trip you and I went on, because neither one of us really plays satellites, but
I remember this.
so
Oh, on no
so
sleep
for,
sitting down in Colorado. Oh yeah.
yeah. So for those of you who don't know, the first time Max and I really hung out, um, so there's a running aces tournament in January. We're at the same date two table. Um,
I said,
Max,
"Damn, Wes, you look handsome." And he's like, "Thanks,
he
want to
did.
hang out?" And I
When
was,
there was a picture of us two and Matt Milston, we all looked quite handsome, I think.
yeah, I think I remember that photo vaguely.
But anyway, so we got to chatting, and you mentioned that you were driving to the Colorado MSPT, driving so you could bring your snowboard easily, and you had a free room. So you're
Yeah.
like, hey, and you want to tag along, and I was like, yeah. So we did this like 15 hours each way road trip together, and we had never hung out, right? A little over 2 years ago.
I
So
remember
we
picking you up and being like, "Oh shit, this might be awkward."
yeah, right. I could tell you weren't gonna you're not an awkward guy, but
Yeah.
obviously it turned out fine. I mean, for you got fourth in the tournament, turned out great for you too.
Yeah.
But we get there, so we drive overnight basically. We're getting in, and we just can't check into the hotel for a while. And day one starts in like an hour and a half or whatever, and so there's a satellite going, and we're like, okay, well we're here, we can't really lie down and sleep. I guess we're gonna play this satellite into the main event. And so I get set over setted like right off the bat. But then
Immediately, I'm sitting at the same table as you, and I just Wes sits down, and just gets set over set it immediately.
yeah, but then the second bullet I fire, um, there were 11 remaining in the tournament. 8 people would qualify and 9 people would get, so ninth place cashed for like, five or 600, maybe 800. The ticket was 1100. So basically we're very near the bubble, and in a satellite, eighth place pays the same as first, right? So you just need to get top eight, and there's 11 left, and this guy raises, gets three bet, and he's not a short, like he's probably in fourth or fifth place in the tournament. He four bet jams and gets called by pocket aces, and he has ace nine offsuit.
Oh my God, I don't
He
remember
four
that.
bet jammed ace nine offsuit, and he's just out. And it's like, not only was that bad, but like, you just don't open it, just fold, like
Yeah. This
allow the
isn't a
shorter
normal
stacks.
tournament. Exactly.
Yeah,
Your
even in
preservation
a
of your
normal,
chips is the most important at this point. If you're in fifth out
yeah,
of below, yeah.
like I think with 10 or 11 left, it folded to me in the small blind, and I was like, the guy on my left covered me, and I was maybe in fourth or fifth as well. And I like folded ace king because I'm like, I will have all these free hands, not in the blinds. And like, it's possible I cash without even having to put another blind in the pot, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Realistically, maybe I should just shove, but like, part of me is also like, I don't trust these guys to fold as much as they actually should either. Um, and anyway, so the guy four bet jammed ace nine.
Well, clearly by that four bet jam, it's a
Right.
correct
And
read by
then
you.
I think that was like the hand after I folded the ace king.
Mm.
So then we were down to 10, and someone busted at the other table. So we were down to 9. We were in the money. One hand, like I didn't have to put in another blind, and I got a ticket
You
into the
cashed the
tournament.
ticket. Yeah,
So
yeah.
um all that to say, like people, especially in live satellites, I'll say people make massive, massive blunders in these. So they are really good value tournaments.
Exactly. And I think that applies online just as equally as well. Here's the truth how I feel about satellites is that I don't think that I think that I just don't play them enough because of the time restriction on top of
Yeah.
all what I'm already playing. But in terms of value, it would benefit me, I believe. So
I agree with that. Now here's the flip side that I wanted to talk about. I think people look at it, and if you're a recreational, do what you want to. Like this is, your money, your decision kind of thing. But as a professional, the thing that I look at is like, I'm not going to try and satellite into a tournament that I'm not rolled for, because doing that, it's still like, let's say, let's use the MSPTs for example. Like, let's say you're someone who you don't want to put up the 1100. That's too much for you, but you play a 200, whatever it is, 260, 265
Yeah,
satellite, and you plan on playing. If you satellite in, you plan on playing for, and you don't sell any action. You're going to play for the full 1100. Um, think of it this way: like if you won, what is that? $850 in profit. If you made $850 in a cash game, you're not suddenly rolled for an $1,100 tournament. For those of you following my bankroll challenge, like
that's a good. I
it,
guess that's a good comparison in a
yeah, like
sense. Although I've never really abided to that, but
right, right, and yeah, to each their own, right? And it's not like for a lot of people, it's more of a budget thing than a bankroll, right? If you,
yeah, I think again, I want to say that I think your logic applies more to people who are following strict bankroll rules and trying to be a professional or like make a living off it. Whereas I think it's makes more sense for an amateur to just go do that because they don't necessarily have a bankroll, etc. I mean, in terms of logic, it probably is better for everybody, but I
yeah,
understand
totally,
why.
and yeah, even as an amateur, I would say like if the 1100 is too much, like if it's an irresponsible seeming decision right now, like having an extra 800 or 900 bucks to your name probably doesn't make that. Like I get that it allows you to do it the one time, so to speak, but like it doesn't make it a long run good decision. And also, like when you satellite, you're still not going to successfully satellite in most of the time.
Yeah,
So
that's
if,
true.
if your plan is to satty into a tournament and then cash it, like you have to have both of those things happen, which is going to happen like
A very
such.
small percentage of the time.
Yeah, it's you kind of have to parlay the two. And let's say you're an average player where top 20% make the tournament and then top 11% cash. Like that gives you a 2.2% chance of cashing once you start with the satellite. So
That's
like,
crazy. That's crazy to think about. That's
yeah,
essentially like a one outer
it is. Yeah,
with
one
one
outer on
card.
the
It's a
river.
one outer with one card to come.
Yeah. Um, and so while I definitely get the appeal of it. You're like, oh, I can get in for 260 bucks, and then min cash is like 2 grand or whatever. A lot of stuff has to go right for this to work out. And you know, if you're someone who's looking to be at least somewhat responsible with the decision making, even if you are planning on trying to satellite in, because I mean those tournaments are good. Um, I would still suggest selling some action.
100%.
Um,
Yeah, if you satellite in, then you sell action, you get money directly into your pocket.
yes, yeah.
It's great.
Um, I also agree with you. For me, I just don't play satellites. Like I play a ton online, and I go play these live tournaments all the time. Like just from a time constraint, like I don't view them as the best use of my own time a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So
I hear you. I hear you. Well, before we move on to the next topic, I want to give one more, one more word of advice to my grinders out there who haven't, that are still grinding those sub $1,000 bankrolls. um,
yeah.
I in my early 20s, I would get, my paychecks from my job would be like 850 bucks every 2 weeks, which was not much. And what I would do, I remember, is I'd take 500 of that. I think the MSPT Saddies back then were like 235 bucks or something. Maybe it's
Yeah. Oh, you would
265.
fire two of those?
I'd fire two of those, and then I'd live off like 200 to 300 bucks for 2 weeks until I got paid again. Obviously, that
Wow.
I didn't do that every time, but that's how
Right.
much
When they were in town.
I had no. But take this with a grain of salt because I had no responsibilities. I had no wife, no girl. I mean, maybe a girlfriend. I don't remember, but I had no wife. I had no children. My bills are already paid. I was probably living with my parents at that time, so I didn't have a mortgage.
Sure.
Um, so just take that with a grain of salt. Don't don't hear
Don't full send
don't
YOLO it.
full send when you have priorities, I guess is my point. But if you're young and you don't have those priorities, I don't think it's terrible. Yeah, I will say that I never led to much success doing that. The success came after the fact, but it got me into the mix, which was what I
Yeah,
wanted, obviously.
totally. Okay, so next let's talk about max late regging a tournament.
It's a good question. This one is, man, I have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
So yeah, how about you start out?
The
What are the
initial thoughts about
pros?
max late regging.
Yeah.
My thoughts about late regging are this. So if as far as time saving, I absolutely love late regging because I can save half my day by late regging.
Hmm.
Um, I can also, in some opinion, save buy-ins by late regging, potentially. Um,
Yep.
on the other side of that, by getting there early, you're not by excuse me by late regging, you're missing value. There's a lot of really good spots to be had by players who don't know how to play with hundreds of big blinds early in tournaments. So you can just acquire a lot of chips early. I mean, obviously you can get unlucky and lose those buy-ins, but if you were to do that 100 times over, and you are a profitable player, you're going to make a lot of chips by registering on time, especially in these daily,
Yeah.
these high the low buy-in high are big field tournaments.
Yeah, and one thought I had too, and I'm in the same boat where like I'll do it a lot of the time. I have mixed feelings. But one great thing is like, okay, so if you're someone who won their way in with a satellite, or if you're a recreational who's gonna play one or maybe two buy-ins, you're almost always gonna register at the beginning because as a recreational, part of your value of playing
The
is also just
entertainment.
the entertainment. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you you aren't going to go if you're someone who's like hyped up to play this one individual tournament, you're not going to wait till level 10 and buy in with 15 big blinds or whatever because you could just easily be out right away. Like
Yeah. You're there to
the
enjoy the
time spent
experience.
playing the tournament has value for those people. So like think of it that way. Okay, if all these recreationals are going to start early, now the table is going to be its softest at the beginning
For
too,
sure,
you
for
know.
sure. Whereas
So
a lot of
as
pros, have that they're thinking about hourly more so than the entertainment factor. So
yeah, and I'm in the same boat. Like um I I just know from an energy conservation
that's another huge one
outlook,
too.
like when you and I are out in Vegas, when I'm in Vegas for 6 weeks, I don't want to start at 10 a.m. every day. You know what I mean? Like you just have to allow yourself to get rest sometimes if you're playing late
And
into
get
the
away
night.
from poker in general because you're playing for so many hours every day.
Yeah, like starting at level 8 at 4 p.m. is not
Yeah.
like the worst
Yeah.
thing sometimes.
Should we talk about oh sorry, do you want to finish a thought on that?
Um, were you going to stay on the bullets or the late reg?
Late
Excuse
reg
me.
topic, yeah.
Yeah,
So
give me your
okay.
thoughts. Yeah.
So I was kind of gonna ask, like, let's give our thoughts on how many big blinds is too little to late reg,
Yeah.
or
So
yeah,
yeah, my thoughts is like there isn't an amount because online I'll max late reg 10 big blinds. I've max late reg MSPTs for like 8 big blinds
yeah.
where I could be out in one hand, but I've also turned one of them into a very deep run. I've turned a couple of them into
Look at our boy
cashes.
Josh Reichard, the king
Yeah.
of late reg, and he loves those last minute bullets and somehow finds final tables with them frequently. So
Yeah. The main caveat I'll give is like make sure you're bankrolled for it because you can be out in one hand quite easily.
yeah,
Um,
I think yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
and so like for example, what I'll say um and actually what I kind of wish is that live tournaments would cut off the late reg around 15 to 20 big blinds. I think the 8 or 10 big blind late reg is just kind of like
I think 20 is
I
the perfect place to end registration. Maybe 15. 15, I would be okay with
so
20.
something around there.
10 and 8, I don't mind. I've definitely bought in for that. But like you said, like it can just be, I mean, it can be over and obviously very quickly in one hand. You just, either open jam, three bet jam. It's not, that stack can just go in anyway.
Yeah, and it makes it sort of like I get that one buy-in is one buy-in for everybody. And some people just if they are able to keep firing, they'll just like shove the 12 or 10 big blinds. If they get unlucky, rebuy. And I get that that's costing them money. So like in that sense, of course it's fair for them. But from other people's perspective, it's like okay, this person is just gonna keep doing this till they build up a stack, and so they're automatically gonna have chips late in the day, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
Um, and I get how that can be frustrating. Like even for me as a pro, like when I'm playing an 1100, I'll usually sell a little piece of action, and I'll bring 4 or 5 bullet. Like this weekend to Larchwood, Iowa, I'll probably bring four. For there are 2 flights, I'll bring 4 buy-ins. Um, I like yeah, I don't really want to, if I bust out my first bullet and I can buy in for 12 or 15 bigs, like I don't want to buy in and then if I bust, like still be able to keep firing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would um kind of like late reg to end a little bit earlier. I actually would say the World Series does a little bit better job where like a lot of times if you max late reg, it's 15 to 20 bigs.
Okay.
Sometimes it's 10, but overall, yeah, I would say if you're a pro or if you're a winning player, max late regging, it increases your hourly win rate because you cut down so much time, but it reduces your win rate per buy-in
It
because you
probably
don't get,
increases your variance a little bit, right?
yeah, I would say so too. Unless that's your only buy-in, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I agree with you. I think there's positives and negatives. I'm in the middle, and to be honest with you, I go both ways
mhm,
when it comes to late reg. Had to
yeah,
clarify.
yeah. I so here's my advice. Like if you, let's say you are willing to, if you're gonna only fire once in a tournament, just enter early.
Yeah.
If you're gonna bring like, let's say you have 4 buy-ins and there's 2 flights you're gonna play. Maybe on the first day you fire one and you only fire the second one if you bust out early. And then on the last day, if you have 3 left, you go fire, and then you're just willing to buy in for those 3,
Yeah. Yeah.
at whatever point, which kind of like leads into the next thing, which I've been asked, people ask me sometimes about like rebuys, how many times should I fire in a tournament? What should I put that cap at for myself? And there is no real right or wrong answer, but let me hear what you have to say about that.
In regards to how many bullets I should fire.
Yeah, like
Well,
how do you think about that?
so that all depends on your financial situation, in my opinion. For me personally, I mean, like you, I like to when I go to an MSPT, I typically like to bring 3 to 4 entries. I'd hopefully never get to the fourth entry, but it occasionally does happen. Um,
Hmm.
but I mean, that's just for my fit financial situation and how I'm set up. And to be honest with you, like my personal bankroll probably isn't even. I mean, my poker bankroll isn't even big enough to support that. But there's action selling, staking, and all that stuff to make it a little more
Of
possible.
course, yeah.
But without getting too much into that, I like to, if say I have 4 bullets and there's 3 flights to a tournament, I kind of like to like not fire too many out of the gate and then not have enough for the rest of the weekend. I would prefer to like say, flight 1A is on a Thursday. I'd play one that day. I'd play one Friday if needed. And if both those go, awry, I would end up firing 2 on Saturday.
Saturday. Yep. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. And the way I think about that too is, so let's say, so there's only 2 flights to the one this weekend, but there's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday flight to the one the following weekend.
Hmm.
So my thought there is I'm actually going to only go on Friday. I'm going to just skip the first flight. I'm going to go on Friday because that also just saves a night of hotel expenses, right? That's like one less day of travel. And if I'm going to bring 4 bullets, let's say, or maybe 5, like I'm fine with just having 2 flights. What I would say for most people is play within the bankroll or budget. Like have a plan, have an idea of what you're going to do going in. Because the thing you want to avoid is, okay, you just busted out of a tournament and you're a little bit tilted. You don't want to be making the decision in that mindset on whether you're going to play it again. You want to
Yeah.
know going
Yeah.
in like
It usually
how
doesn't
many
come
I'm
out.
going to
Yeah.
fire today, how many I'm going to fire in this tournament as a whole.
Yeah.
And
I think setting guidelines ahead of time is, I mean, not that many poker players do this, not many, to be honest with you, but I think setting guidelines will set you up for success.
yep, I agree.
And one touching back to the prior subject on late reg, I think that in regards to say my schedule, I would fire one Thursday, one Friday, and have two for Saturday. I'm more likely to late reg the Thursday and Friday sections, and then if those don't again go awry,
Get there right away
then I'll
Saturday.
get there right away Saturday and try and play the full thing.
Yeah. Yeah, because like they're,
I'm
life
obviously going to
exists
try and
too.
cut off as many hours and build a stack first, and then if that doesn't work out, then I'll get in there in the mix and try and realize all that early tournament EV.
Yeah, that seems totally reasonable. That's kind of what I feel like I do, although this last weekend at Canterbury, I got there right away on Thursday for the first flight. So it just kind of depends on the day. Um, but yeah, I would say biggest thing is just going with your plan
All right.
and stick to that plan. But
Yeah.
and stick to the bankroll too, you know.
Well, what
Um,
we got? You got any last thoughts on that one?
no, we can move on.
I want to hear your thoughts on this question. So, again, these are kind of questions that we get asked the most. And Wes, uh, what lines do you tend to exploit the hardest? In other words, what is a
Oh,
common
okay.
bet? What is a common betting tell by recreational players that you'll attack at, regardless of your range? And I'm
So
probably not information we always want to give away, but here we are.
right. So this would be like if someone says what is a tell that you go after, what's something you recognize, like this is an in-game strategy question. And so this is
They'll look down at your chips, act like you're going to bet, and then check.
yeah, so that's number one is like if someone makes it clear that they're looking like they want to bet and then they check, usually accompanied with kind of an aggressive stare at you.
When you try to
That
exert that much strength, like physical strength, it typically means weakness. In truth,
yeah,
that
here's
obvious
the
of
thing
when
is
you're
like
that
people,
obvious.
someone who's sitting down and playing poker for a lot of money is not going to be that obvious.
Yeah, yeah,
And people just, yeah, you can tell when someone's trying to mess with you that way.
yep.
But other things I would say, if someone bets the flop and then they bet the same size on the turn, like not as a percentage of the pot, but let's say they bet 1,000 chips into 2,500 on the flop. I call, pot's 4,500. They bet 1,000 again on the turn. Usually that's going to be like a one pair hand that doesn't want to get raised, doesn't want to face a big bet, but so like they think they're ahead, but
Was the
also
Sorry, let
want
me
to
pause you.
control
You
the
said
size of the
so, like
pot.
when you're betting, like the same when you downsize essentially the following street.
Yeah, but if it's like the actual same bet size or
Yeah,
very
yeah,
close
yeah. Downsize in relation to the pot size
in
you're betting.
relation to the pot, yeah, that's a big tell.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah, that's kind of the second one I was thinking about as well. Yeah,
yeah, where that's never a bluff and it's almost never like a super strong hand either.
yeah, yeah.
So you can attack that obviously by raising, or if you have a nutted hand, you can raise really small or trap on the turn, and whatever the situation kind of dictates.
Also, my favorite people to exploit are aggressive opponents.
Mm-hmm.
By literally, I don't know. I guess maybe this is more of an adaptation or adapting, whatever. More so than an exploit, but just widening my calling ranges versus spews. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna be, not folding second pair, but I guess that's not necessarily an exploit.
yeah, it sort of depends. Like it can be.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I would say in terms of playing against recreationals, like what sort of betting tells. Oh, another one, and this one is like a little harder to exploit because you can kind of just play perfectly against it. But let's say they're kind of short stacked. I raise, they call from the big blind, and then they just, flop is whatever, jack 7-3. Like then they just ship
Blunt.
it. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
overbet jam they just out of flow. They lead out. It's like now I can kind of play perfectly where I'll call with my strong one pair hands and better, and then fold all it's like it's very face up, but also I can only call or fold, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, I mean that kind of goes in line with my third one as well. Is that like bet sizings against amateurs are the easiest for me to exploit. But in this exploit, we're gonna discuss like exploit folding instead of like trying to get chips off them just by saving chips because like you'll see oftentimes, and I see this to this day all the time when I'm playing is like paying attention to betting patterns. You'll see, opponents bet one size, and all of a sudden you'll see a significantly larger size. So they'll go from like 2.5 to either like 3.5 or higher. Um, and oftentimes it's just, jacks plus, ace king plus, like stronger nutted hands. So it immediately gives me a range for them to, or allows me to apply a range to their hands that early in the hand where I don't have to wait till later to get to that point, and I can just make bigger folds earlier in the hand,
Hmm.
like pre-flop, for example.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. Another like a somewhat related thing, and I'm sure we've both been asked this, is like, how do you play either as the big stack or against the big stack? Like, when does that matter? When, because I think some people actually, especially amateur players, maybe some listeners out there who don't study quite as much might think this. There's this impression that like once you have a big stack,
Be
you can just
aggressive.
bully everyone at
Yeah.
all times.
No,
And
you should be more selective because preserving that big stack is very important.
yeah, like and when you're, let's say you have 3 or 4 starting stacks and it's level 4 of the tournament, like you can't bully anyone.
ICM
There's
pressure,
no
nothing.
ICM pressure. There's nothing like that. So you
Yeah.
don't
I essentially will continue, I don't adjust my strategy too much if it's that early. I'll just continue playing a little bit, tight is right in those stages. If I have that much, I'll just try and use that to continue building till then I can hopefully have a bigger stack to where I can then exploit ICM.
exactly. I think I see it all the time where people will, like an amateur type of player will spin it up and have, let's say you start with 30K in chips, they'll have like 150K by
They
level
just start
6.
playing every hand,
Yeah, they call every
limping.
3 bet, they'll
Yeah.
check raise all the time. And it's like, maybe I just bought it. Maybe I'm at 18K and they're at 150. And then 2 levels later, they're down to 50 and I'm at 60. I'm like, or they could even be out. And I'm like,
Because they just
where
play
did
every
that
hand
go?
because they feel like they have so much flexibility, but you're literally just burning money doing that.
Yeah. Like you should be playing, if you have 150K and I have 18K, I can only lose 18K. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
we're playing for my 18K and there's no payout. So
I think,
definitely
yeah.
early in tournaments, don't worry about um big stack bullies and stuff like that.
Yeah, if you end up building a big stack early in a tournament, maintain your strategy. I mean, try and retain those chips, keep them in your stack, and don't start playing. No, don't start calling raises later. Don't start calling 3 bets later. Don't do any of that. So where you want to is really utilize a big stack is either on the bubble or at a final table to where you can exploit other stack sizes. So for example, you have 50 or 60 bigs, you're at a final table and there's a bunch of 20 big stacks and then maybe a 10 and a 5 big stack. Like at this point, you can really attack those middling stacks and start raising
Yes.
them wider because they are supposed to wait for those short stacks to bust. So, like, that's a good time to start utilizing your big stack, opening your ranges. But again, don't start calling more. Like, that's one thing we don't really want to end up doing. We want to raise more essentially.
Yeah. You never want to, like, if you're a big stack, sure you can call, like, at a final table, you can call a little bit wider, but not like wider than you're initially supposed to. It's not that you should be calling wider. It's you should be tightening up less because you're not afraid of busting. Like you should be playing a little bit closer to chip EV, but still not like any looser than a normal chip EV strategy.
Yeah, I
You
agree with
know.
that. Yeah.
Um, any last questions for you? I think I've got one other um
Oh,
that
yeah. Let's talk about that, and then we'll go ahead and wrap things up here.
all right. So in terms of staking, selling action, do you have any thoughts on if you should do that and how you should go about that, if so?
Yeah, I mean, if yeah, I have no problem whether what route you take in that. If you want to sell action, absolutely. I mean, selling action reduces bankroll variance, period.
Mhm.
So if you don't think, I mean, if you say you got $5,000 in a poker bankroll, and even if you're playing, like, it doesn't matter what you're playing, sell a little bit of action to it, and you'll see that your bankroll will oftentimes last longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I would also say just like make sure there's mutual trust on both sides of whoever you're doing it. Like we see all these stories about, oh, so and so screws over his backers, or vice versa. These two people swapped, and this person had a big score and claimed that they didn't swap. And just make sure it's with someone you trust. And
Yeah. This is
you
why we
know,
do not facilitate swapping or selling action in our Discord, by the way. We get asked that a lot. Like, hey, can you create a channel to sell action in Discord? It's like we would love for you guys to do that with each other, but we can't be held reliable for that if someone
of
decides not to
course,
pay. So
yeah. Um, and
not that
I
that really
feel
had to even be said, but anyways.
totally, but it's good to say. And yeah, I think so. For example, I'll sell action sometimes, and I'll usually charge a bit of a markup because
Mhm.
I've proven to be a winning player over time. When you're starting out, though, definitely just sell at face value. So, like for a $500 tournament, if you're selling 50% of your action, sell it for $250. Once you've started winning a bit, you could, charge 1.1, 1.2.
Unless it's the
Um,
main event, feel free to mark up for that. Not too high, but enough just to, because I mean, the value is just insane in that tournament. So
yeah,
that's a specific, like a one off thing, but,
yeah, um,
or maybe just sell it at face, actually. You know what? Sell it at
yeah,
face
to us.
to us.
Um, yeah, and I guess yeah, just make sure. I've always been felt a little bit better about selling action opposed to a full staking deal, because it's just like when you just sell action, you're taking you and your investors are taking risk, and if you lose, they lose. You don't owe them the money back, anything like that. And if
Yeah.
you win, they win. Um, yeah,
Staking is difficult because, right, all of a sudden you're part of like a partnership where, I mean, it, where you're not, yeah. Anyways, I don't really know how to word that properly. But staking, you just be a little bit more careful with. Definitely recommend selling action. Obviously, staking seems like an amazing opportunity because you're not taking on the blunt of the finances at playing these tournaments. But here's the truth: like if you have a long staking deal and you go on say you go 20 tournaments without cashing something, which is totally possible. Say it's an MSPT, all of a sudden you're $20,000 in makeup. So you hit a $30,000 score. Well, you're paying that 20,000 back first,
so
and then you're
yeah,
splitting the 10K. So you're probably getting 5K out of that 30K score. So just a thought
yeah,
to
and
bear.
of course, even if you weren't being staked, you that 20K would still be losses. But the way to kind of say what you're saying
Better.
is what I guess what I'm saying is, like, even if someone's backing you for those downswings, like it's still your money. Like when you get, like you said, if you get the 30K score and your 20K in makeup, you still lost. That 20K was still lost. Like
Yeah.
there's still only 10K of profit there, which you have to split. So you're basically just having someone like put it up front,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well said. So, if you can find a stake, a staking stable or someone to stake you, definitely do it. But just be aware of the deal you're getting. Typically, 50-50 or 60-40 is a good mix there. Oftentimes, it depends on who you're working with, but the good way to get staking, if you listen to our Ryan LaPlante episode, he gives a ton of different ideas on how you can build your resume up to get staking. So make sure to check that episode out because, yeah, he gives you a bunch of good advice on that. But you have to really go into the trenches and grind out and build up. Not only your skill but your resume, right? So that people can. You have to be able to prove to people that you're a winning player because no one's going to want to invest as a gamble. They want to invest in someone that they know is going to make the money, and it becomes easier that way.
Mm-hmm. Any last thoughts? Any last
No, I mean that's it. If you guys are listening to this and you have more questions and topics along these lines, feel free to hop in the Discord and let us know in the episode feedback, episode suggestion, anything like that. We got a lot of space for ideas to flow in. So help us out that way as well, as we, love to get content ideas for the podcast. So check that out. Anything for you?
No, I think that's it. We got our plugs. We got to do those.
Yeah, yeah. If you guys haven't heard
Guys,
him a million times, Wes, start us off.
join our Discord.
Link in the description.
The link is in the description. We have a ton of great strategy talk on there. Whether it's poker hands, whether it's stuff like this, um, shit talking, all the above.
Oh, there's a lot of shit talking in Discord, but all in good fun. I don't like over the past year and a half we've had our Discord. I can't think of like any drama that's unfolded in there. Not even
No,
one, not even one little thing. So it's a
really has
positive
been.
place to talk and meet new people and that are passionate about the same things you are. And also make sure to check out Wes's stream. If you listened to last week's episode, our boy here is on a little challenge trying to turn 10K into 100K online. You got a link in the description. He's made it a fifth of the way there. Our fourth or
Well,
fifth.
only a ninth, really, profit wise. Depends on how you look at it. Because I made 10K profit.
Right,
I turned
20K
10K into 20K.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been. I think I've played 20 sessions, so that's like $500 a session on average. I mean, that's good.
That's great. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm staying within bankroll constraints where I need to have 125 buy-ins to play a tournament, 40 buy-ins for a cash game. So you guys can kind of see what the grind looks like in real time.
Yeah.
I feel like, well, follow me at the Poker Cannon on Twitch. Subscribe if you really like it.
Cannon with two N's.
Yes, Cannon. And then join Clubs Poker. I play some Clubs Poker on the stream.
The cash games on there are honestly incredible.
And now they actually have they're making some bigger tournaments. They have some good tournaments on there that are really worth playing. And
if you guys have not signed up for Clubs Poker yet, make sure to use the link in our description. That helps support the podcast. So yeah, definitely do that. And we have our meetup games that you can then include yourself in. We get those. We had over 30 entries in our last week one with like, I don't even know how much up top, $700 up top or something. How much did you win?
Yeah,
Mr.
who won
Winner?
it? It was like 604. I actually won it.
Yeah, you won it. So it's a 55 buy-in, over $600 up top. It's juicy. It's fun. There's a lot of slow rolling and splash. And no,
it's a lot of fun. That's the funny thing. It's like if I go all in and you or Boss Hog, someone's tanking, it doesn't mean that they have a decision. Sometimes it's just aces.
We ain't gonna slow to the listener out there. We're not gonna slow you. We're just gonna slow roll Wes and Boss Hog, Alan. That is.
if we're good friends, we might slow roll you, but not just gonna do it to any random person.
That's for sure. That's for sure. So make sure to join into that. The Patreon. We won't get too in depth. If you listen to our past episodes, we have our Patreon open now. A great place to support the podcast and also improve your game. We got 2-tier subscriptions: $5 a month, $15 a month. The $15 a month is a pro tier study subscription, so where we release videos every week, just that trying to improve your game little by little. They're short form and long form, so you can dabble at a little bit, dabble at a lot of bit. We go over final tables, we go over concepts. Great way to learn for cheap if you like the way we teach. So make sure to check out our Patreon. Link is in the description for that.
Yeah. We won't get into merch. We still will have merch soon. We're still meeting with those
It's still in the works, right? Yep. We got we're working at it. So you'll see that soon, and I can't wait to get those hoodies in there. But I guess with that, we won't, melt your ears any longer. Wes, tell them what's up.
Hope you guys have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, weekend, whenever you're listening to this.
Have a nice coffee. Have a nice shake. If you're a cigarette smoker, enjoy one of those. If you're a booze drinker, quit. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care what you do, honestly. But anyways, hope you guys have a great night, a great day, whatever. And we'll see you guys next week.
Time.